The alien Empress offered me any prize, but I only wanted her heart. The offering. The crystalline spires of Meridian's capital glittered like frozen flames against the violet sky. Lucas Chen stood at the viewport of the diplomatic shuttle, his reflection revealing the weariness etched into his face after 15 years of interstellar conflict. The Terran-Lunari War had claimed billions of lives, including his sister on the mining colony of Artemis IV. Final approach to the Sovereign's citadel, announced the pilot. Ambassador Chen, they're expecting you at the primary reception chamber. Lucas straightened his midnight blue diplomatic uniform. At 42, his once black hair was threaded with silver, and the scar across his jaw, a reminder of a Lunari attack he'd survived, pulled tight when he frowned. Any last intelligence I should know? Just that Sovereign Nylara rarely meets with humans directly. This is unprecedented. The shuttle touched down on a platform of polished obsidian. Guards with luminescent armor formed a corridor, their faceless helmets tracking Lucas's movements as he walked toward the towering doors of the citadel. Inside, the architecture defied human understanding. Spaces that seemed to bend inward and outward simultaneously, light that moved like liquid. After passing through 3 security checkpoints, Lucas entered the reception chamber, a vast dome where the ceiling mirrored the stars above Meridian with perfect accuracy. At the far end, seated on a throne that appeared to be carved from a single massive diamond, was Sovereign Nylara of the Lunari. Lucas had seen images, of course, but they failed to capture her presence. Her skin held the soft glow of twilight, a luminous purple that shifted subtly with her movements. Her eyes, pure silver without iris or pupil, regarded him with ancient intelligence. The elaborate crown of crystalline structures framing her face caught the light, creating halos of rainbow colors. Ambassador Chen. Her voice resonated through the chamber, musical yet commanding. You stand before the sovereign court of the Lunari Conclave. Lucas bowed precisely as protocol demanded. I bring greetings from the United Earth Federation, Sovereign Nylara. You have traveled far to finalize what our representatives began. She gestured to the holographic treaty between them. The terms have been agreed upon. After 3 centuries of conflict, peace between our peoples will commence at the signing. The Federation is committed to lasting peace, Lucas replied carefully. Nylara rose from her throne with fluid grace. Standing, she was taller than him by at least a head, her flowing robes of silver and indigo catching the starlight. As is tradition when great conflicts end, the victor offers tribute to acknowledge sacrifice. Lucas stiffened. With respect, Sovereign, the treaty establishes mutual recognition. Either side claims victory. A whisper of something, amusement, crossed her features. An admirable diplomatic response. Yet reality remains. Your Federation requested this armistice after the loss of the Proxima system. In Lunari tradition, this positions you as the supplicant. Before Lucas could object, she continued, however, I recognize that new traditions may be forged today. She approached him, her attendants tensing visibly. Ambassador Chen, as recognition of your people's resilience and your personal sacrifice, I offer you a boon. A boon? Lucas echoed. Yes, the resources of a star system, knowledge from our archives, command of a trade fleet, name your desire, and if it is within my power, it shall be granted. Lucas hadn't expected this. The Federation had briefed him extensively, but nothing suggested the Lunari would offer personal rewards. His mind raced through possibilities, advantages for Earth, technological exchanges, medical breakthroughs. But as he looked at Nylara, something unexpected stirred within him. For 15 years he'd seen the Lunari as enemies, yet standing before her, he sensed a profound weariness that mirrored his own, the burden of decisions that sent others to die. Your offer honors me, Sovereign, he said finally, but I must consider carefully what would truly serve peace between our peoples. Nylara's silver eyes narrowed slightly. You have until tomorrow's rising of the twin moons. Choose wisely, Ambassador. Few are offered the bounty of the Lunari throne. As Lucas was escorted to his quarters, he couldn't shake the strange connection he'd felt, like a current passing between 2 stars across the void. Whatever he chose tomorrow would shape more than politics. Something told him it might reshape his very soul. Impossible whispers. The Meridian evening brought a quiet unlike any Lucas had known. His quarters in the eastern wing of the citadel overlooked vast gardens, where bioluminescent flora pulsed with gentle rhythm. He paced, considering the sovereign's offer while drafting messages to Earth Command. A soft chime interrupted his thoughts. The door dissolved into mist, revealing a Lunari attendant whose skin held a paler purple hue than Nilara's. "Ambassador, the sovereign requests your presence in the Midnight Garden. It is unusual." The attendant's silver eyes betrayed confusion. She normally walks there alone. Lucas followed through corridors that seemed to shift around him. The Midnight Garden proved aptly named. An expansive courtyard opened to Meridian's sky, where twin moons cast twin shadows of everything below. Sovereign Nilara stood beside a fountain of what appeared to be liquid starlight, her formal regalia replaced by simpler attire, though no less regal. Without her crown, Lucas noticed her hair fell in silvery waves down her back. "Ambassador," she acknowledged without turning, "have you decided what boon you will request?" Lucas approached carefully. "I'm still considering. The Federation would expect me to ask for technology or resources. Yet you hesitate." Now she turned, her silver eyes studying him. "Why?" "Because peace isn't built on transactions," he replied. "My sister died in this war. So did millions of your people. What could you possibly give me to balance that equation?" Something shifted in Nilara's expression. Surprise, perhaps. "You speak with unexpected honesty. Diplomacy has its place. But here, away from the formal chambers, I thought directness might serve better." "Indeed." She gestured for him to walk alongside her. "Tell me of your sister." The request startled him. Elise was a terraforming engineer. She believed one day humans and Lunari might share worlds instead of fighting over them. "A visionary, then," Nilara said softly. "The Lunari Council would call her naive." "What would you call her?" Nilara paused beside a flower that opened at her proximity, revealing petals that mirrored the cosmos above. "I would call her correct. But being correct does not ensure survival in this universe." They walked in silence until reaching a small pavilion. Once inside, Nilara touched a panel, activating a privacy field that hummed softly around them. "What I share now is not for diplomatic records," she said. "The war continued because my predecessors, and yours, found it easier than understanding one another. My scientists estimate our species share 82% genetic similarity, despite evolving on worlds 40 light-years apart." Lucas leaned against a crystalline column. "That's not in our scientific briefings, nor in ours." Nilara's lips curved slightly. "Some truths threaten power more than weapons." Lucas felt a dangerous curiosity growing. "Why tell me this?" "Because tomorrow you will request your boon, sign our treaty, and return to Earth as a hero of peace. But peace built on incomplete understanding cannot last." Her silver eyes held his. "I would know if you truly desire peace, Lucas Chen, or merely the absence of war." The use of his first name, surely a protocol breach, sent an unexpected warmth through him. "They're different? War is combat. Peace is connection." Nilara stepped closer, her scent reminiscent of night-blooming flowers and ozone. "I have accessed your service records. You were an anthropologist before becoming a diplomat. You seek to understand, not merely negotiate. Understanding you has been challenging," Lucas admitted, suddenly aware of her proximity. "Lunari emotional expressions are difficult for humans to read. Perhaps this is clearer." To his astonishment, Nilara took his hand, pressing it gently against the side of her face. Beneath his fingertips, her skin felt warmer than human temperature, with a subtle texture like finest velvet. "We call this Tessarin," she explained, a gesture of trust shown only to family and— She hesitated. "Those with whom we wish to share thoughts directly." A tingling sensation spread from his fingers through his arm. Lucas found himself unable to pull away, captivated by the intensity in her silver eyes. "I have led my people through 16 Earth years of war," Nilara whispered. "I have sent millions to die because it was necessary. Like you, I bear the scars of duty." Her hand moved to the mark on his jaw, tracing it gently. "But here, in this moment, I am simply Nilara. And you are simply Lucas." The rational part of his mind screamed warnings about diplomatic incidents and interspecies taboos. But another part, one buried under years of loss and duty, recognized something profoundly rare: authentic connection across an impossible divide. "Tomorrow," Lucas said hoarsely, "when I name my boon, Nylara stepped back, breaking the contact. The diplomatic mask slid back into place. Choose wisely, Ambassador. For both our worlds, she departed, leaving Lucas alone with the revelation that the most dangerous element in these peace negotiations wasn't political at all. It was the impossible whisper of attraction between two beings who should, by all logic, remain forever separated by the stars that divided them. Tides of betrayal. Dawn broke across Meridian's crystalline landscape, sending rainbow refractions through Lucas's quarters. He'd barely slept, his mind replaying the garden encounter. The treaty signing was scheduled for midday, where he would announce his chosen boon before representatives of both species. His communication device chimed, a secure channel from Earth Command. Ambassador Chen, this is Admiral Vargas. Your last report mentioned the Sovereign's personal offer. Lucas tensed. Yes, Admiral. It's apparently Lunari tradition. Our intelligence has new information. Vargas's tone sharpened. The Lunari High Council is divided. Several members oppose Sovereign Nalara's peace initiative. This offer may be an opportunity. How so? Lucas asked, though he already suspected the answer. Request access to their quantum communication technology. Our scientists believe it could advance Earth capabilities by decades. Alternatively, mining rights to their moons would secure resource independence. Lucas stared out at the alien landscape. And if I believe other requests would better secure lasting peace? A pause. Your primary objective remains securing advantage for Earth, Ambassador. Don't lose perspective because of their hospitality. The transmission ended, leaving Lucas with a bitter taste. Perspective. As if 15 years of war hadn't given him enough. A commotion outside interrupted his thoughts. Guards rushed past his door. Alarmed, Lucas stepped into the corridor, catching the arm of a passing attendant. What's happening? The attendant's silver eyes widened. Assassins breached the inner sanctum. The Sovereign... Lucas didn't wait to hear more. He sprinted down the corridor toward Nylara's chambers, ignoring shouts to stop. His diplomatic status granted him access through security fields that would have halted others. He found chaos in the Sovereign's antechamber. Guards surrounded a fallen attacker while medical personnel rushed past. Through the inner doors, he glimpsed Nylara seated, while a healer examined a wound on her shoulder. Ambassador! A security commander blocked his path. This area is restricted during an active threat. I need to see she's safe, Lucas insisted, surprising himself with his vehemence. The attempt failed, the commander stated coldly. The Sovereign's security handled the matter. Who was responsible? The commander's expression hardened. The assassin wore Terran military implants. The accusation hit Lucas like physical blow. That's impossible. We're signing a peace treaty today. Perhaps not all humans desire peace. The commander turned away. The High Council is convening. The treaty signing is delayed. Lucas stood frozen, mind racing. A human assassin? It made no sense, unless someone wanted to sabotage the peace process. He needed to speak with Nylara, to assure her this wasn't sanctioned by Earth. He waited until the corridor cleared before approaching a different entrance he'd noted during his security briefing. As expected, it was guarded, but by an attendant he recognized from the previous night. I must speak with her, Lucas said urgently. What happened threatens everything we've worked for. The attendant hesitated. The council demands she break negotiations. Then let me speak with her before she decides. After a moment's consideration, the attendant touched a panel, revealing a hidden passage. She is in the healing chamber. You have minutes before the council arrives. Lucas hurried through winding corridors until he found Nylara in a room bathed in soft blue light. She sat on a crystalline bench, healers applying a luminescent substance to her shoulder wound. Ambassador Chen, she acknowledged, dismissing her healers with a gesture. You risk much coming here. Is it true? The assassin was human. Her silver eyes met his. Human in appearance. But something was wrong. The neural patterns when my guards subdued him showed abnormalities. Lucas approached, kneeling before her to examine the wound, a deep gash now closing under the healing substance. The proximity sent his heart racing inappropriately for the dire situation. This isn't Earth's doing, he said firmly, but someone wants you to believe it is. The Counselor of Defense suggests you could be part of the plot. Her voice remained neutral, but her eyes searched his. He demands your detention. And what do you believe, Sovereign? Nilara's hand moved to his face, initiating the Tisserine connection. The tingling sensation returned, stronger this time, almost like she was scanning his thoughts. I believe, she said softly, that a man who runs toward danger to ensure my safety rather than using chaos to escape is either the most dedicated assassin in history or exactly what he appears to be. Relief flooded through. Lucas, we need to discover who's behind this. Both our peoples have factions that prefer war. Indeed. Nilara winced as she stood. The council arrived shortly. They will demand answers I cannot provide. Lucas rose with her, suddenly aware how close they stood. What will you tell them? That I require time to investigate before judging all of humanity by one action. Her hand still rested against his cheek, and that my chosen envoy will assist in uncovering the truth. Your chosen envoy? The ghost of a smile crossed her features. I'm appointing you, Lucas Chen, as my personal investigator in this matter. It gives you diplomatic immunity from the council's suspicions while we determine who truly wishes me dead. The intimate touch, combined with the seriousness of her words, created a tension neither seemed willing to break. Lucas found himself drowning in her silver eyes, aware that his loyalty was becoming dangerously divided between duty to Earth and the magnetic pull of the extraordinary being before him. I accept, he whispered, his hand instinctively rising to mirror her gesture, fingertips brushing the velvet warmth of her cheek. For a heartbeat, the universe narrowed to just the two of them, human and Lunari, separated by biology and history, yet connected by something neither had words to define. The moment shattered as the chamber doors opened. Council members entered, their expressions darkening at the intimate tableau before them. Lucas stepped back, but it was too late. The seeds of suspicion had been planted, and with them the dangerous possibility that personal feelings might now complicate an already precarious peace. Starsong Confessions. The following days transformed Lucas from diplomat to detective, with Sovereign Nilara's authority granting him access throughout the Citadel. He pursued leads on the assassination attempt while Earth Command demanded daily updates. The evidence doesn't make sense, Lucas explained as he paced Nilara's private study. 3 days of investigation had yielded contradictory findings. The assassin had human DNA, but neural patterns show signs of artificial construction. Nilara, seated behind a desk of floating crystal segments, studied holographic data streams. The assassination attempt had changed their dynamic, necessity forcing them into closer quarters and constant communication. A synthetic? She suggested. A clone with implanted directives? Possibly. Lucas ran a hand through his disheveled hair. But the technology required exceeds both our capabilities. A third party, then. Nilara's silver eyes narrowed. One that benefits from continued conflict between our peoples. Lucas nodded grimly. The mercantile guilds of Proxima profited enormously from supplying both sides during the war. Their representatives have been most vocal against our peace initiative. Nilara rose, moving to a window overlooking the capital. The twin moons hung low on the horizon, bathing her purple skin in ethereal light. Lucas found himself distracted by the way the moonlight played across her features. These days of working together had revealed layers to her he hadn't expected. Brilliant analytical skills, dry humor that emerged in private, and moments of vulnerability when discussing the toll of leadership. Lucas. Her use of his first name still sent warmth through him. Your thoughts are elsewhere. Not elsewhere, he admitted. Just focused on something beyond the investigation. She turned, studying him with those unreadable silver eyes. The council meeting tomorrow will be challenging. Councillor Vex has gathered evidence he claims implicates Earth directly. Falsified evidence, no doubt. Likely, but effective nonetheless. She stepped closer. We have tonight to prepare our counter-arguments. The proximity between them had become both comfort and torment. Each day spent together deepened a connection neither had anticipated. Each night ended with reluctant separation, duty and propriety forming a boundary neither had yet crossed. There's something I haven't told you, Lucas said suddenly. Earth Command contacted me again this morning. They've lost confidence in the peace process. They're recalling me. Nilara went very still. When? They expect me on the morning transport. His voice tightened. I refused. Her eyes widened. Lucas, that's Insubordination? Probably. He gave a bitter laugh. 15 years serving Earth's interests faithfully. And the moment I suggest someone might be manipulating both our governments, they want me replaced. The Council suspects I've been compromised as well. Nilara's voice softened. They question why I defend a human so fervently. The unspoken truth hung between them. Both had indeed been compromised. Not by conspiracy, but by feelings neither had expected nor resisted effectively. We're running out of time, Lucas said. Once I'm recalled and you're pressured to resume hostilities, whoever orchestrated this wins. Nilara made a decision. She touched a panel, activating the room's privacy field, then approached a wall that shimmered and revealed a hidden chamber. Come, she said. There's something you need to see. The hidden room contained a single crystalline structure, a database more ancient than anything Lucas had seen in the Citadel. This is the Ancestral Archive, Nilara explained. It contains historical records predating our formal history. Few even among the Lunari know of its existence. Her fingers danced across the interface, illuminating star charts and historical documents. The first war between our peoples wasn't spontaneous, Lucas, it was engineered. Engineered? By whom? A species known only as the Architects. The display showed shadowy, indistinct figures. They operate across centuries, manipulating developing civilizations toward conflict, harvesting the technological innovations warfare produces. Lucas stared at the evidence, patterns repeated across centuries of Lunari-human conflicts. You've known this all along. I discovered it 3 years ago. It's why I pushed for peace despite military advantage. Her silver eyes met his. I couldn't reveal this knowledge without proof the Architects still exist. The assassination attempt provides that proof. Overwhelmed by implications, Lucas leaned against the console. Why tell me now? Because tomorrow we may lose our positions of influence. Because someone must know the truth. She hesitated. And because I trust you, Lucas Chen, more than anyone in this galaxy. The weight of her confession hung between them. Lucas stepped forward, closing the distance. There's another reason I refused recall, he said softly. One I've barely admitted to myself. Nilara's expression remained unreadable, but her voice betrayed emotion. And that reason? The treaty was my mission. Peace was my duty. His hand rose tentatively to her face, initiating Tessarin. But you were never part of any plan. The connection between them flared, stronger than before, images and emotions flowing between minds. Lucas felt her loneliness, the isolation of leadership. Nilara experienced his grief, the weight of losses carried too long. This is forbidden, she whispered, yet leaned into his touch. The sovereign must remain separate, detached. I crossed a galaxy to negotiate peace, Lucas replied. Instead, I found something I never knew I was seeking. The last barrier between them dissolved as Nilara drew him closer. Their lips met, human and Lunari, in a kiss that defied biology, politics, and reason. Her skin warmed beneath his touch, the Tsaran connection amplifying every sensation, until it seemed their very souls intertwined. When they finally parted, breathless, Lucas saw tears, luminescent like liquid starlight on Nilara's cheeks. When I offered you any boon, she said softly, I never imagined you would claim this. Lucas smiled, brushing away her tears. I never imagined you would grant it. In that private chamber, surrounded by evidence of ancient manipulations and impending crisis, they found refuge in each other. The night passed in whispered confessions and tender discoveries, two beings from distant worlds mapping the uncharted territory between them. Morning would bring confrontation with councils and commanders. But for these precious hours, the only universe that mattered existed in the space they created together, a fragile harmony amidst a cosmos bent on discord. Beyond the cosmos. The High Council chamber hummed with tension. 12 Lunari counselors positioned around a circular table, their faces illuminated by the holographic evidence projected above. Lucas stood beside Sovereign Nilara, both presenting a united front despite the accusations flying. The evidence is conclusive, Counselor Vex insisted, his aged purple features twisted with disdain. This human's government authorized the assassination attempt. The evidence is fabricated, Lucas countered, projecting confidence he didn't entirely feel. As our joint investigation shows, the assassin wasn't fully human, but a synthetic organism. designed to trigger precisely this response. He activated his own evidence display, showing the neural patterns and genetic anomalies they discovered. Someone wants this piece to fail. Someone who benefits from continued conflict. A murmur spread through the council. Xelari stepped forward, regal in her formal attire despite having slept barely 2 hours. Counselors, I present additional evidence. She revealed data from the ancestral archive, carefully edited to protect its secret location. A third party has manipulated Lunari-human relations for centuries. The assassination attempt bears their signature methodology. Before Vex could respond, the chamber doors burst open. Admiral Vargas of Earth Command entered, flanked by Federation security. Ambassador Chen, Vargas announced coldly. You're ordered to return to Earth immediately. Your diplomatic credentials have been revoked. Lucas felt Xelari tense beside him, though her expression remained impassive. On what grounds, Admiral? Compromised loyalty. Vargas's eyes flicked between Lucas and the Sovereign. Intelligence suggests you've been influenced by inappropriate relationships. The accusation hung in the air. Several counselors exchanged knowing glances, their suspicions confirmed. How convenient, Lucas replied evenly. That Earth Command reaches this conclusion, just as we uncover evidence of third-party manipulation. The Federation disavows your conspiracy theories. Vargas stepped closer. You have 1 hour to prepare for departure. Xelari's voice cut through the tension. The ambassador remains under sovereign protection during an active investigation. Your jurisdiction is not recognized here, Admiral. Then perhaps the Federation should reconsider the value of this peace. Vargas's threat hung in the air. Perhaps we should ask who benefits from that reconsideration, came a new voice. All eyes turned to the chamber entrance where a Lunari security team escorted in a bound prisoner, a guild representative Lucas recognized from earlier negotiations. Explain yourself, Commander Tella, Counselor Vex demanded of the security leader. The commander bowed. We intercepted this Proxima Guild operative attempting to access communication arrays. His security overrides match those used by the assassin. Lucas and Xelari exchanged glances. Their late-night investigation had identified Guild communication signatures, but they hadn't expected such immediate confirmation. The Guild representative wishes to offer information in exchange for leniency, Commander Tella continued. What followed was a damning confession. The mercantile guilds, fearing profit losses from peace, had conspired with rogue elements in both governments. More shocking was confirmation of the architects, ancient manipulators who provided the guilds with synthetic technology in exchange for continued conflict. As evidence mounted, Admiral Vargas's posture changed. This information must reach Federation High Command immediately. Indeed, Xelari agreed. But the question remains, how deeply have these influences penetrated our governments? The next hours brought frantic communication between worlds. Earth Command, confronted with evidence of manipulation, rescinded Lucas's recall. The Lunari Council, though still suspicious of human intentions, acknowledged the greater threat posed by the architects and their guild puppets. Amid the diplomatic chaos, Lucas and Xelari found a moment alone in her private garden. We've won a temporary reprieve, he said, watching the twin moons rise. But exposing this conspiracy has only begun. Xelari's fingers entwined with his, a gesture now familiar yet still thrilling. The architects have manipulated our peoples for centuries. They won't surrender easily. No, Lucas agreed. And we've made ourselves their primary targets. The unspoken question hung between them. What now? Their night together had crossed boundaries neither could uncross. Yet their duties remained to worlds still learning to trust. I've been considering your boon, Xelari said suddenly. The one I offered when you arrived? Lucas smiled faintly. I think I've already taken more than was offered. Perhaps. Her silver eyes reflected the moon's. But formally you never made your request. What would you grant me if I asked? The question was both playful and profound. Xelari turned to face him fully. What does your heart desire, Lucas Chen? The answer came without hesitation. A future where we need not choose between duty to our worlds and what we've found together. A chance to build something that honors both. A diplomat's answer, she teased. Elegant but abstract. Then let me be direct. Lucas knelt before her, a human gesture that made her silver eyes widen. I want you, Xelari. not just for stolen moments between crises. I want to build a peace that allows us to be together openly, to create something neither of our worlds has imagined possible. Emotion played across her features. The sovereign is not permitted such attachments. It has been our way for millennia. Perhaps it's time for new traditions. He rose, taking her hands. You offered me anything within your power. Is this beyond it? For a long moment, Nylara was silent, the weight of tradition battling with desires newly awakened. When she finally spoke, her voice carried the authority that had commanded starfleets. As sovereign, I decree a new position, ambassador of unity. Its holder shall stand between our worlds, belonging fully to neither yet serving both. Her eyes held his. I offer this position to you, Lucas Chen, with all the privileges and burdens it entails, including the right to stand at the sovereign's side not just as ally, but as partner. Joy, unlike anything Lucas had known, spread through him. And Earth Command? We'll adjust. Nylara smiled, a full, radiant expression he'd seen only in their most private moments. As will the Lunari Council. Neither can deny what we've accomplished together, nor what we might yet achieve. Their lips met beneath the twin moons, a kiss that sealed an agreement more profound than any treaty. The challenges ahead remained immense, exposing the architect's full influence, building trust between suspicious peoples, creating space for a relationship without precedent. Yet in that moment, hope seemed not just possible, but inevitable. For if a war-weary human and a Lunari sovereign could find connection across the seemingly insurmountable divide of species and history, perhaps the cosmos itself held more possibilities than anyone had dared imagine. As they walked back toward the Citadel hand in hand, the stars above Meridian seemed to shine with new purpose. Whatever forces had sought to keep their worlds in conflict had inadvertently created something stronger, a bond that transcended biology, politics, and even the vast emptiness between stars. Peace had brought them together. Love would keep them so, and together they would face whatever the universe had yet to reveal.